The Gingerbread Man's Last Stand. The Gingerbread Man felt happy and light. It had been so long since he had run for his life. Yes, life was good now for the Gingerbread Man, who had no idea today was his last stand. The kitchen was calm, full of peace and warmth, like the quiet that comes before a storm. He buttered his face to smooth out his wrinkles, then grabbed some shut-eye like old Rip Van Winkle. But Ginger was watched by an angry team of cookies made from sugar, flour, and mean. They envied his fame, fortune, and his glory, and each planned an end to his sweet, sweet story. The head of the pack was a sinister punk, a chocolate chip cookie they all called Chunk. A classic cookie who felt he'd been upstaged and was filled up with a chocolatey rage. The second cracked cookie was Shuggy the Sweet, who was, at her best, a second-rate treat. She once loved Ginger, but he ran off instead, and Shuggy still stewed and wanted him dead. And Old Man Oatmeal disliked all that was new, including this infamous Ginger dude. Each cookie had his or her half-baked reason to put a quick end to young Ginger's season. The cookies cooked up a real evil plan to finally finish the Gingerbread Man. The idea was not to just knock off their foe, but to do so with an incredible show. As Ginger stayed there snoozing and dormant, the cookies went fast, for this was their moment. In order for them to get to the fridge, they first had to cross over Silverware Bridge. With all of their might, they pulled open the door, and a radiant light spilled out on the floor. Right there on the shelf sat the key to their plan, their grand scheme to end the Gingerbread Man. The jug of milk loomed tall over the crew of liquid that would bring him a quick doom. They left from the fridge with the bottle in tow and waddled with glee toward their victim below. Creating a guide with cups and some dishes, they'd funnel the milk in a manner vicious, transforming Ginger into a pile of mush, and with that they gave a big hearty push. The bottle plopped down just like they had planned on as the milk slopped and sloshed with wild abandon. It raced down the dishes and picked up speed, a racing white jockey on a milk steed. As milk hit his face, Ginger awoke frightful. Before his eyes flashed mistakes, a whole lifeful. He got up and said one thing to himself as he got ready to leap from the shelf. "Run past the sugar, run past the spice rack. You can't stop now, man, there's no turning back. You need to run as fast as you can. Run for your life, you're the Gingerbread Man." But stopping to breathe was his one last mistake. As the milk dissolved him in front of his face, his arms disappeared and his tummy was bare, while his face twisted like some Dali nightmare. The milk slipped through the kitchen's cracks and creases and carried Ginger off to rest in pieces. So this meant no more movies, books, or folklore. The fabled Gingerbread Man was no more. The cookies came together to celebrate. They'd beaten their foe. They deserved a break. But as the trio sang, giggled, and danced, the gingered milk slid toward an army of ants. The ants were driven mad by the sweet syrup and by the Gingerbread Man's vengeful spirit. Onto the kitchen the ants marched and advanced, the cookies unaware they danced their last dance. The ants came hungry for the three of them and tore them apart, crumb by crumb, limb from limb. Chunk stood his ground, but the ants came in waves, and soon he fell to his own gruesome grave. We're now at the end of this tasteless dark tale of three bland cookies who turned evil and stale. So, to keep your treats well behaved and in line, be sure to eat them at least 3 at a time.